If You Find a Rock by Barbara Hirsch Limber and Peggy Christian. If you find a rock. If you find a rock, a nice flat rounded rock that sits just right in the crook of your finger, then you have a skipped rock. You toss it out in the water just so and see it drip across the surface, making a chain of spreading rings. Maybe you find a soft white rock, a rock that feels dusty in your fingers. Then you have a chalk rock, and you use it to make pictures on the pavement. Or you might find a big mossy rock by the side of a long, steep trail. Then you have a resting rock, and as you sit down, you feel the cool moss squish beneath you. Then again, you might find a rock with a stripe running all the way round it. Trace the line with your finger. It must circle all the way. You have a wishing rock, and you whisper what you want before you throw it. If you find a rock, a big rock by the edge of the water, then you have found a splashing rock. When it hits the surface, the water jumps out of the way, raining back down on your outstretched hands. The bigger the rock, the wetter you get. Maybe you find a pile of small rounded pebbles. Then you have found sifting rocks, and you can scoop up a handful and let them slide slowly through your fingers. Or you might find a rock whose water-smoothed surface catches your eye. If it feels easy in your hand when you rub it, then you have found a worry rock. You rub it between your fingers and your troubles are smoothed away. Then again, you might find a rock sitting in a grassy field. Push it over and you have found a hiding rock. And in the cool, dark underside live all kinds of things that creep and crawl and hide out of sight. If you find a rock, a great rock, that towers over you, then you have found a climbing rock. Hold on with your toes and fingers. Grip hard as you stretch up and pull until you reach the top, where you feel much grander than you did on the ground. Maybe you will find a twisting line of rocks sticking up out of a creek. Then you have found crossing rocks, which wait to meet your feet as you pass over the water rushing away all around you. Or you might find a rock with a print of something else, a leaf or a shell. When you have found a fossil rock, you feel the shape of something that lived long, long ago, when the rock was young. Then again, you could find a small rounded rock right in front of your toe as you go down the sidewalk. You have found a walking rock, and you kick it ahead of you and let it lead you home. If you find a rock that's not a skipping rock, or a chalk rock, or a resting rock, or a wishing rock, that's not a splashing rock, or a sifting rock, or a worry rock, or a hiding rock, that's not even a climbing rock, or a crossing rock, or a fossil rock, or a walking rock, but you like it anyways because it reminds you of a place or a feeling or someone important, then you have found a memory rock, and sometimes those are the best rocks of all. The end. What kind of rocks do you like? We like rocks we can climb on, sit on, stand on, rocks with really large cracks, colorful rocks when we're hiking, and we love to turn over rocks to see who lives underneath. I also wanted to share my hard rock collections. Rocks come in many shapes and forms, and I started collecting rocks in the shape of hearts many years ago. They're really kind of hard to find. And now Kai helps me. They came from different states, different hikes, so they also have turned into my memory rocks. Hello, since we have read If You Found a Rock, I decided it would be fun and I wanted to show you how to create painted paper. Here are some regular materials all of you have at home: a fork, bubble wrap, tissue paper, a cork, aluminum foil, saran wrap, and some cardboard. And we're gonna create textures on this paper bag. You can use any sort of paper. If it's a little bit thicker, it's more sturdy. Copy paper works. Construction paper, I just cut a paper bag open. Okay, and we gonna start soon. I have some water set up with a paintbrush. You might want to put this in a jar that is actually easy for your kids to use so it doesn't get knocked off, but I knocked mine over. So I'm just gonna apply a little bit of black paint here on the paper. I wanna make some different shades of gray, so I'm also gonna squeeze. That's the only white I have. If this white even still works, I don't think so. All right, guess we'll have to do without white. So I'm going to take my paintbrush, I'm going to spread my black paper all around the paper. Now I can use my fork and apply some pressure, and you see lines. You can do straight lines, you could make prints with your forks. Your cork is going to again create a different texture. I'm going to apply some more paint. I can also layer colors since we're trying to create a rock collage eventually. You might want to spread this out further. So I'm going to use some of my bubble wrap, and you can see that creates different texture, and okay, let's see if I get lucky and I have no white. Darn it. Okay, let's see. All right, let's see if that works. Oh, there we go. See? I use my paint like this. Ooh, I'm gonna get some gray. Get some white. I can create different kinds of there you go. I can scratch with my cardboard. I can print with my cardboard. I haven't used the aluminum foil. Look at this texture. So there's endless possibility. I think this is a wonderful opportunity to let your kids experiment with everyday materials. They probably have better ideas than we do as adults. And I would say set up a station outside. I often have my son work on a cookie sheet. Then it's easiest with this weather to hose them off. And I think you should give this a try and let me know what you think. Hello, here is the balancing rock collage I created with all the painted paper. I'm going to zoom in so you can take a closer look. Look at all these different textures all our tools have created. Enjoy exploring and experimenting.